Welcome again, everybody, to another edition of First Person, sponsored by the Precision Strip Company in Minster, Ohio. Generations of service to that community, New Bremen, and the Auglaize County in general. A great place to work. They're always looking for good people like the U.S. Marines. A great place for you to either start a career or to finish one. They invite your comparison. Check them out online, in person, by phone. Anyway, the Precision Strip Company in Minster, now the new sponsors for 2017 and 18 on Press Pros. We're talking basketball again this week, and the gentleman to my right I have a pretty good history with. We go back 10 or 12 years when Marcus Bixler was the young fledgling coach for the Piqua Indians in 05, 06, 06, and 07. A couple of 16-win back-to-back seasons back then, and I remember well doing the weekly radio shows on WPTW.
Every Thursday, too. I got in there about 2:45 every Thursday.
Yes, sir, and you were very punctual. We got in, we got out, we got her done. Of course, you left there after a couple of years, went to Franklin Monroe, where you graduated as a high school player, and a couple of years at Tip City, and now for 4 years here at ARCANUM High School. And I must say that school administration and orange and black looks pretty good.
It's a big change, you know. It's been a big change. You get to come back to Darke County is always a great thing, and then have the opportunity to be an administrator and coach. And it's a lot of time that goes into it, but I'm really happy with it. I enjoy both aspects of what I'm doing, and I'm fortunate to have a supportive family because it's pretty demanding in terms of the hours you're spent away.
It is. It's a tougher job than people realize. I want to talk just for a minute about, as I mentioned a second ago, Marcus, about where you've been. And, you know, you're recognized when you go out and talk to people about fine young coaches in area basketball, your name comes up a lot.
I'm not sure I'm young anymore. I start realizing that every morning I get out of bed thinking, man, the year just 12 years ago when we first got started back at Piqua, and, I've had the opportunity to work at some great places. But I think I'm kind of getting that middle-aged to veteran coaching. For sure.
My point is you've had some great experiences, certainly starting out at Piqua, Franklin Monroe, where basketball is very important. When you get to Tip City, that's what people talk about there. I think a lot of people say now it's a football school, but they have such a great tradition there of basketball, going back to Frank Goldsberry and even beyond that. And then I know, people forget this, but back once upon a time, the ARCANUM Trojans were the state champions in Ohio basketball, so it matters here.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's one of the neat things about being in Darke County is it does matter.
Despite Dave Gray, they won.
they won in spite of Dave Gray, and 1969 Class A state champions. And yep, Dick was the coach at that time. But it's a neat place to be back to. It's a place where they want to succeed. Our guys really want to succeed, and they've done a really good job of investing in the process. And it's been just that. I mean, we've tried to, we're doing a complete makeover in terms of what our culture's been and getting all those things changed. And that happens, a little bit at a time. And I couldn't be more proud of our guys. And I'll be honest, I can't be more proud of the start we've had so far this season.
And the fact remains, we talk about Shelby County League basketball. We were just talking about that before we turned the camera on. The MAC, the GWAC, that the Press Pros covers. But Cross County Conference basketball for years and years has had a great tradition. You've had two state champions that I can think of. Alan Mack has won the title at Miami East, and certainly Tri-Village won it here a few years ago when they had that fine team. And this is very competitive basketball and a very tough play for visiting teams to come into this league and win.
Oh, it really is, and this year especially, we're as deep in the conference, I think, as I can ever remember, either being at FM or my time here. There's no nights off like I think sometimes there has been traditionally in years past, and you've got to be ready to go every night. I feel like the middle of our conference is as strong as it's ever been, and then you've got the teams at the top, like Bethel without Caleb South going so far, they're undefeated this year to start. FM's extremely solid, National Trail's extremely solid, and I get confident when our conference teams are going out and playing some of these other non-conference schedules that we're going to compete or win. It's a really good year for the CCC basketball.
I want to talk a little bit about your own particular situation here. I know you've got some injury issues with your point guards that got hurt during football, so you're playing without them right now, and yet the other night Rushi comes in here and you beat him by 5 or 6 or 7 points, something like that. That had to be a big confidence win for you, the Trojans, your kids, because you're very young.
Yeah, and I think our ability to overcome in the first half, we had 7 first half points, did not play well, shot about 18% from the field, forced shots, was not interested in being unselfish or even patient with the basketball on the offensive end, and that really hurt us. And, our discussion at halftime solely centered around the fact of what it takes to win at the varsity level. And our focus was offensively. Look, the ball has to get moved. We have to have the ability to get some reversals to make them work a little bit and not fire something up in 10 seconds. And the second half, you saw confidence starting to build. We hit a couple shots, we ran a couple really nice looks, and it just snowballed from there. And I thought our defensive effort, the first half was okay. It wasn't great, but it kept us in it. Only be down 15. We really probably should have been down more. And then I just started carrying over to the defensive end of the second half. We were able to get some stops together, and we got to the end of that game, and I just kept thinking, if we can get the lead, I think that's going to be a huge momentum burst, and that ended up being the case. And I was just pleased for our guys to have that opportunity, because there's been some times I know in the past where we would have wanted to fold up shop, down 22-7 at the half.
Yeah. I know you read Press Pros a lot. You pay attention to what's our content that's on, particularly about basketball. And a week or so ago, we had Jack Albers, a feature with Jack talking about modern basketball compared to when the era in which he coached at Marion Local. And I'm interested, maybe your own perspective on what's either right or wrong or good or bad about basketball, or what's different about basketball now as a young coach, a generation removed from when Jack worked, and your own thoughts about the state of the art of basketball right now. A lot of people say, why is it so physical? It's faster. There's more individualism now, more one-on-one basketball, which he pointed out. And just your own thoughts about what you deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Well, the game's gotten, a lot more physical, a lot faster than it has ever been. And I know you and I have always had the conversation when you say shooting's down, and I'm explaining, as a defensive-minded coach, shooting's down for a reason, because now you're allowed to be aggressive with kids off of screens. You're allowed to, get in their jersey when they catch and, take away that catch and shoot, or at least make it really, really tough shots. And that wasn't the case even, go back 20 years ago when I played, that wasn't the case. There was no touching, there was no contact on drives and things like that. And that's changed. And I think as a coach, you've had to have the ability to adapt defensively in terms of understanding what's accepted and what we can do. And you got to constantly push that envelope on the defensive end in terms of being physical, because if you're not, you're going to find yourself kind of behind the eight ball. I think the other thing I'm noticing too is you see more and more of the AAU basketball going on. I feel like I'm doing a lot more of some basic, fundamental and basic X's and O's, exactly, basic X's and O's on each end of the floor that maybe I didn't do it as much in the past. And I do think that has a lot to do with kids not coming in and doing as much open gym 5-on-5. We're just going out into the park or playing or whatever that may be, that we're stressing some things that normally we may not have to stress in years past. Now, I think part of that is if you're going to be detail-oriented, I think that gives us an advantage, because we are going to spend the time working on some of those little things and making sure that we do them. But it's changed, it's evolved, not only since I've even started at Pickwind FM, but definitely since I was a player. The game's changed dramatically.
You're also in the middle of a perfect scenario here that we talk about all the time, about how good can kids be in how many different sports. Because you're in one of those situations in a Division IV school where you have to share athletes. Sure. You've only got so many boys. They play football, they play basketball, they play baseball, they run track, they play golf, they do all these different things. And how much time is there for a kid to be good as you want him to be, and certainly as efficient as you want him to be in both 2 or 3 sports?
Yeah, and we've been real fortunate here. The coaches work extremely well together. One of the things we did is we started a common off-season weightlifting program. So all summer long, all of our male athletes are together, and it doesn't matter, what of the sports you're in. So that right there just helps in terms of alleviating some time for these guys till we can do it all at once. It just makes it easier. It's nice to have all the coaches there, so we're all kind of coaching the same thing in the weight room, or dealing with the plyometrics or agilities or whatever it may be. But it's getting tougher. And with basketball being such a skill sport, that to me, I truly feel like it's the one sport that if you don't put the time in for the skill, it shows come winter time.
Yeah, it doesn't take long either.
No, and it's, I think, more so than many other sports, the skill that's involved to be good at basketball, whether it's the ball handling, passing, shooting, it just doesn't happen. It's something that you have to spend the time and work on.
Ooh, we know each other pretty well, so I feel pretty good about asking you this question. We're recording this here on the brink of the holidays, and you beat your brother-in-law the other night.
Sure.
Spencer's the coach at Spencer Cardonier at Russia. You think that topic will come up around the dinner table?
The only way it comes up, I have a feeling, is if I'm the one that instigates it. And I know better going back over to Rushi Christmas Eve night to do any instigating of the such. But you know, I was proud of our kids that night. It was fun. It's kind of a nerve-wracking night. It's not something I would like to do week in and week out. But you know, you get the chance to do it once a year, and then have our kids come up big the second half and play the way that we did, and have the opportunity to celebrate here in the locker room together. That was fun, and I'll remember that aspect of it more than the fact that it was my brother-in-law.
Bottom line, it might be good for you to stay here rather than take an opening sometime in the future in the Shelby County League?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
All right. Marcus, always fun to talk to you. Happy holidays. I know you got kids. You're going to have fun
absolutely
enjoying with Abby over the holiday season, and we wish you the best this year with the Trojans.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Sonny.
All right, that wraps up this edition of First Person with Marcus Bixler, again sponsored by the Precision Strip Company in Minster. Check them out. As we say, a great place to start a career or to finish one. Check them out either online with the address that scrolls across the bottom of the screen here. Give them a call or go see them in person. They're always looking for good people. Until next time, we wish everybody a great holiday season. Thank you for your support of what we do on PressProsMagazine.com, and we'll see you again with another edition of First Person.